So I did a little bit of a rescape on the big tank. It's still a little foggy, still getting there. I moved over some media to hopefully help eat up some nutrients to kill back all of this hair algae. Nothing much to update on that. All the corals are still alive. No problems. It's pretty silent. All the corals in here doing pretty good. My anemone looks amazingly huge. All my little tips that I broke off are already encrusting on the rocks. These guys somehow got pushed together, so this guy got eaten a little bit, but he's doing okay. Bounce, good as always. The sky right back here, it's hard to tell, but on some of the tips he's turning colors again. He went from purple to like this light blue to now like a very, very, very light blue, like pearlescent. I don't know how else to describe it. Sunset Monty's looking good. I don't know if you guys can see from this angle, but there are blue spots showing up on the middle of its skeleton, little dots. My rainbow has started to sprout some new heads underneath. So I'll get a new few of those. Everything seems to be doing just fine. Changed my light settings just a little bit to get a little bit more out of my lights because I was only running about 30%. So I changed the schedule so that it's running at complete power, but it's not right this second. It's in a cycle, and within a week it'll slowly build up to what it was at a 25% rate is what I set it at. I need to clean the glass on this guy, but here's where the mean little Clarky went. He doesn't like me too much, but man, in this tank you can really kind of look at him since he's right in front of you. And he's got these beautifully blue iridescence on him. It's really nice. Look at him even though he doesn't like me. I don't know if you can see it, but he even like shines underneath that light. It's crazy. Guys are doing great. Froggies are still rocking and rolling. Fed them a whole bunch today and they were out and about. There's a couple of them back there. And like I said, this thing is just growing and growing. As you can see, it just keeps getting longer and longer. And I just kind of tuck it in and keep going until this is going to be its own little canopy. I mean, they don't really care. They don't get up there too much, but once it, it can start collecting some water and it has a shade barrier, then frogs themselves don't quite sun, but it's going to be cooler and more humid down here. Up towards the light you can get a little bit more warmth and more air, so hopefully they'll use it. Both the lights on that's doing good. Humidifier. This guy's doing good. He ate a whole bunch of superworms yesterday, probably 10. But if I've told you before, he rarely comes out, not very often, and so he just maxes out. That's why I don't change his water so often, but I do when he does come out. Just looks like that because he likes to bathe in it. So pardon the mess. But I took a trip to Modern Aquatics with Pat Murphy from Murphy Aquatics, and I picked up a used RODI unit, a little 2-stage, and a ROD or TDS meter. So, on out, obviously it's 0 because I put brand new media in and everything. But without any RDI, just the 3 pods of sediment and carbon and stuff like that, before it even touches these 2 separate RODI containers, it's at 2, or at least that's what it says. I don't know. So and every time you can switch it back and forth. Out 0, I'm not worried about that, but if it's only 2 going in, do I really need to run 2 of these guys? Because they're oversized compared to these. So, wondering about that. But awesome store. Love to go back and check it out again. It's another time when I have a little bit more time and a little bit more money in my pocket. But I took out all of the marine pure and all the little bio pellets and stuff that were in my other sump. I did a water change today. Need to do one on this little guy, but about to run back to work. Cleaned out my sump today. Lost a few bio pellets in the process, but pretty darn clean. I know that looks dirty right there, but it's I have the sump suspended because on the ends, so it's a little bit more level. But yeah, I mean, it's been really overhauling on the clean lately. I'm trying to get everything as possible, or everything clean as possible in this tank. I've been trying to scrape the bottom glass and scoop up and sweep up as much as possible, and keep blowing out all of the rock. So I take a tube, so I don't use an actual directional hose. So I put a tube in there, and I just go around and in each and every one of these nook and crannies and blow it out and make a nice little snowstorm, and it feeds all the corals. And, I mean, everything is looking amazing and multiplying and growing, and can't say much better. I mean, this PC Rainbow was close to death, and I put it in my tank, and give me a second, I'll show you from the top down how well it's done. It's amazing. But all my corals, even ones that I got earlier, you can see all the little white new tips that are coming off of that. Jack-o'-lantern's starting to encrust. My bounce, it has so many little bubbles on it now. But I mean, from white to green and pink and purples, there's all kinds of different colors on it now. Oregon Tort, it's been spreading out a little bit. Pikachu, almost completely spread out onto the frag plug. Even the Pink Floyd looks like it grew a little bit on the base. I mean, I can't complain. The only thing that I can say is I did do, I finally did get a actual refractometer with the LED light that comes with it. So when you touch this, it has a little light so you don't have to run around. So now I actually have my salinity on somewhat of a point. So it was at 0.23, and now I've been trying to do water changes to get it to back up to 0.26. So I mean, there's nothing really to complain or say. Everything's just been rocking and rolling and no problems. Everything's been going good, so hope you guys are having a good week.